Hello, it's Q&A time on the subject of Would You Rather. Now, I'm making a part two of analyzing and having my own take on Would You Rather questions that I find pretty interesting and compelling to think about. Okay, let's get started. Would you rather never be able to go out during the day or never be able to go out at night? Well, I pick at night because I usually do stuff at daytime and I tend to sleep at nighttime anyway, so I sometimes go out at night, but I don't think that'd be too much of a handicap. Okay, moving on. Would you rather have a personal maid or personal chef? Oh, that's a lovely one. I love that one. Now that's a no-brainer. I would most definitely have a personal chef. That would save me a lot of cooking time. I can cook for myself, and I am doing, but I would much rather be doing something else than spend some time cooking. But yeah, I wouldn't like to have a personal maid because I know where my stuff is and I don't want somebody else to move stuff around and do some things that I don't know about. So I wouldn't be able to find stuff later on. So I would much prefer to have to fix the cleanup on my own creative mess than having somebody else doing it. So I'd pick a chef, absolutely, hands down. Okay, moving on. Would you rather be 11 feet tall or 9 inches tall? That's funny. I am close to 11 feet tall. Not really, but I'm slightly over 6 feet, so I got a pretty good idea what that would be. But 9 inches tall? That would be less than a foot. That's an interesting fantasy. That would be a super midget, even shorter than women. I don't know. That would be a legendarily midget. So, I, for the surrealism's sake, I would pick 9 inches because it's gonna be surreal. Okay, next one. Oh, that's an interesting one. Would you rather be an extra in an Oscar-winning movie or the lead in a box office bomb? This is interesting. I'm doing acting and doing multiple movie roles and have done extra roles, so I would most definitely pick doing the lead in a box office bomb. Some of the movies do bomb, and but still, doing the lead is doing the lead, and doing an extra is just pretty much doing nothing. Doing an extra, well, you're pretty much ordered around to just walk and or read newspaper or sit down, so you don't get to use any creative potential or whatsoever. Doing a lead is a much different story, so even if the movie bombs, I would much prefer doing the lead because the lead would get much more attention. Extras usually don't even get named or they don't get counted for, so they are pretty much disposable actors. So even though bomb, I would pick a lead bomb. Okay, moving on. Would you rather be royalty 1,000 years ago or an average person today? Now that's an interesting thought experiment. Probably average person today has access to more stuff, communication, food, whatsoever than is accessible to royalty 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago, imagine that. That would be like the early stage of Middle Ages, so there's pretty much nothing around. No traveling, no import, no export, or very rarely. To royalty, maybe there's a little bit of export import going on, but I think I'm not sure, but average person today has, due to internet, has personally more worldwide international connection than any royalty 1,000 years ago. Even the phone was like not a thing back then. It was like carried leather. Carrying a letter by horse is about as good as you can get, and maybe sailing across the sea with a flimsy wooden boat that usually often enough doesn't make the trip. So there's like, yeah, it doesn't bear comparison. Average person today is what I would pick. So, though it would be interesting to be royalty back then, but I still wouldn't think that's good enough. Okay, moving on. Let's see what we got here. Some of these are pretty interesting. Would you rather be 10 minutes late or always 20 minutes early? Okay. 10 minutes late. Well, that may be sometimes too late, but 20 minutes early, well, it doesn't seem that it would be too ludicrously early, so I picked 20 minutes early. I could like relax, have a walk, and sort out my brain and have some thinking going on before doing anything. So that's not too early. That's a little bit too early, but not too early. 10 minutes late would be worse. Imagine if the event would last for 5 minutes. You'd miss it. So I don't think so. I'd pick 20 minutes early. Okay, moving on. Would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life? Both are interesting. To rewind. What the question doesn't specify what would the rewind button do, or pause button. So if just a pause or just rewind, I pick just a pause. To just pause sometimes and have a little pause before going on. So that may help. Imagine like in a tense situation, you just pause it for a moment. Think about it. Let your emotions run away and then unpause it and continue. That'd be pretty useful. It's really good to pause sometimes. Well, matter of fact, you actually can pause. You just need to overpower your emotions for that. And let them pass and then continue. There actually is a pause button. Okay, moving on. Would you rather always have a full phone battery or a full gas tank? I'd pick a full gas tank because I don't drive a phone. It would be a phony drive. Well, the ability to move around and do my stuff is slightly more important than the phone because I know where I am and where I go and what I do, even without the phone. I can even read a paper map. Well, I don't need phone for directions. I don't need phone for pretty much anything else than communicating with other people. So comparing with the gas, during driving I don't use phone anyway, so a gas tank would be more useful. Okay, and let's move on, the last one for today. Would you rather die in 20 years with no regrets or live to 100 with a lot of regrets? Oh, this is interesting. Oh yeah, no wonder that's the last one. Oh, that's a really good one. I would personally prefer a short and interesting life to a really long and really boring life. Yeah, usually most regrets are things that are not done, things that are left unmade because of fears, because of fearing the other people's opinion and so on. So some people have left things undone and they are regretting it later on due to the same reason. They left something undone because they were afraid what the other people would think about it and so on, so on, so on. But the reality is that the life will end, and all that matters is actually that you make yourself happy, and you have to make your own life valuable. No one else is going to make your life anything that is. And if you do stuff that you like and that you really want to do, well, in terms of normal things like traveling, acting, doing sports, trying new things, and you don't have to do anything by absolutely everything, all the most stupid stuff like we'll leave out the criminal stuff and abusing drugs and everything like that. That's not worth anything. But I mean the valuable stuff in life that you will get the valuable memory about or learn something about. And if you don't do anything, if you don't go outside of your comfort zone, then you don't learn anything new. I'm currently doing acting and stuff like these, and well, it's a daily occurrence to me that I have to challenge my own comfort zone and I have to go out of it in order to achieve something. And everything that is valuable in life is beyond your comfort zone. So you really do have to do some stuff that you're afraid of, that you may not be comfortable doing, but in the end, if you do it and if you overcome it, then it's absolutely worthwhile and you don't need to regret that. But if you leave stuff undone due to what other people may think about you or something, well, that's really wrong. You will end up with a lot of regrets back after that. Because the fact is, other people are thinking about themselves. They're never even think about you. So if you want to perform or be on stage or something, then nobody is thinking about you. Everybody else is thinking about themselves. So that's a really good thing to keep in mind. That's probably one of the major causes in stage fright or the opinion fright or something, that is completely false. Such a thing doesn't really exist. It's more like an imaginary fear that will lead to a lot of regrets. So yeah, I wouldn't. I don't care what other people think about me or what their opinion about me is. I know that they don't have opinion about me, they have opinion about themselves. Even if somebody is doing weird commentary and trying to get you down, that's also a thing that they're talking about themselves. Even haters are talking about themselves, so just keep going. You will have interesting life and much less regrets. So living 100 years in a bubble is not worth at all. Like living 20 years in life of excitement and fulfillment is much better. Well, in other words, if your idea of a fulfilled life is living in a bubble, then that may be for you, but definitely not for me. So I'd pick the short and interesting over long and boring. Okay, that's it for Would You Rather. Thank you and see you next time.